And okay, it looks like we are rolling. Got the sun working against me right now, but we're going to go ahead and keep this going and see what comes out. But what I'm going to do in this video, in addition to affiliate marketing and network marketing, I also like to play with bonsai. And this is a not quite a 1-year-old avocado bonsai. We started that from seed last year. And I am taking the opportunity today to go ahead and repot this little sucker. We started it out in an old cottage cheese container with aluminum foil to catch the drippings. And let's see, I'm going to find a home for that. Okay, and what I want to do is go ahead and transplant that either into a regular bonsai pot, if the root system will allow. Sometimes in the first year, you have to kind of wean them down. If this has a deep root system, I may go with something more like the strawberry pot and then put it back into a bonsai pot next year. But first of all, we need to get in here and see what we're dealing with. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove. Had a little, oh my God, yes, we've got a very deep root system, I can tell already. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe the strawberry pot will be the way to go. I'm going to go ahead and remove the soil and see what we got. Just go ahead and get that soil all over the table here. Looks like those roots will compress down without too much trouble. And I'm thinking I can actually go ahead and trim off some of these roots. I don't want to trim too much because I will end up trimming the top of this thing. So we're going to trim it down. Right here you can see where the original avocado seed was. And we had 2 sprouts coming out of that, the main trunk here, and a secondary trunk right there. I'm going to leave that for now. But yeah, after looking at this, I think this will make a pretty good candidate for the bonsai pot. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and put that sucker right into the bonsai pot. So we won't be using this strawberry pot after all. Put that under my work table. And now, what I like to do is to put a layer of pumice in the bottom of the bonsai pot. And I've got some coarse pumice right here. We're just going to sprinkle that right in there. That's a pretty good layer. And then I've got my own potting mix that I make, and this potting mix is made out of 1 part native clay and then a little bit of compost that we make ourselves. And then I also put in 1 part of Miracle-Gro potting soil, and then I put about 2 parts pumice, more fine pumice. And I just go by the way that it feels, because your potting mix that you use, it's gonna depend on what kind of tree you're growing. Avocados like a lot of moisture. So I'm letting this have good drainage on the bottom, but I have a potting mix that is going to hold moisture more so than other potting mixes that I've used. So I think that mixture will probably work out. And on these roots, I don't know. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is leave them, not really trim, and kind of stretch it out on the bottom there. Let the roots go out over here. And then let the bonsai, the avocado part of the plant, go in this section of the pot. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. So on top of that pumice substrate that I have, I'm going to start to fill in my own growing mix that I use. And what I like to do in my growing mixes, we do a lot of field bonsai work, which means that the trees that we normally work with are trees native to our area. We just find them in the field, dig them up. And what I like to do with the potting mix is I'll go ahead and see what kind of soil it's growing in, and then I'll end up taking that native soil, adding a little bit of compost, and then balancing it out with pumice or perlite. So that way the tree has the soil that it's adapted to, and you've got the pumice or perlite mix to give it really good drainage. So I think I'm happy with that. What we're going to do now, we are just going to go ahead and put in the dirt on top. And I don't use akadama, anything like that. We have a lot of clay in our native soil here, and so that holds in the moisture pretty good. I will use a lot of pumice because pumice is good for the roots of pretty much any tree that I've worked with anyway so far. Throw that there. And a little bit more there. And quite a bit more right here. And then what I'm going to do is take our little fancy aluminum bamboo stick, chopstick, and just kind of work that soil in between the roots, since I did kind of strip the soil off the root mass. Make sure we get that pretty much packed in between the roots. Then we'll water that down pretty darn heavy, and then keep an eye on it for the next few days. See how well it adapts to the new pot. And what I'm going to do is take a lot of that old stuff that fell on the table and throw that on top there. And then what I like to do as a top coat, go ahead, take a handful of pumice and add that to the top. Gives it a better look and feel. And the wind is kind of gusting, so you can see how the wind is moving this little avocado tree. But yeah, that pumice might help to hold that in. I may end up putting a rock right here to help keep that thing in the pot in this windy weather. But yeah, there we have it. I'm pretty happy with that. A little bit more there. There we go. And then I think I will end up throwing a rock on top of that. But now the next thing that we want to do, I want to take a look here. I'm filming alone today. Looks like we got a pretty good view of that little sucker. So what I'm going to do is just wet this down really good. And yeah, I ended up not trimming any roots at all, so I could actually get away with not trimming the upper part of this, but I'm going to anyway, because yeah, I want this to grow. It's pretty tall right now. I want this to grow a little shorter. We've got 2 branches here, and I'm going to use this little branch here as what we call the sacrificial branch. This will help to thicken up the main trunk of the tree. And what I'm going to do now, we're going to sacrifice, not really sacrifice, but we're going to trim this entire section of the tree. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim it right about here. There we go. And now we've got a growth node right here that will push out more branches. So we might get, in another year, more branches growing this way and that way. And then what we have here is a little cutting that I believe I can make another tree out of. Because we got a growth node right here. Gonna cut that leaf off. Another one right here. Gonna cut that leaf off. And I'm just gonna go ahead and trim. I don't know if you can see this, I'm operating alone today, but we're gonna end up cutting off a lot of these little leaves, big leaves. And what I'm gonna do, we're going to leave one leaf there. And now we got a little stick, a little green stick. And I've got it. I'm going to put it in this little jar of water. And this is a little rooting secret that I've learned over the years, is that if you take a tree that is maybe hard to root, take your cutting, put it in with water, and add in a couple sticks of willow. Willow is very easy to root, and it produces a growth hormone, a natural growth hormone, which will help it to root, and anything else that you add to the mix will get a head start on rooting as well. So yeah, I don't use any store-bought growth hormones. We just use willow. We got into that last year, as a matter of fact. Had our first batch of willow, and I just love the results that I get with it. So yeah, we got a lot of willow bonsais coming up, and using the willow, hopefully we'll get an extra avocado bonsai out of this little clipping. So there you have it. Those are my tips and tricks for the day. That tree looks like it's gone through a major transformation, but what I'm going to do now is just add more water, soak it down really well, and without all that top weight, it really looks like it's going to fit into the pot pretty nice. So I'm not going to worry about bracing that up with any more rocks. Just going to water that until water starts dripping out of the bottom. I think we should be almost there. And there we are. Yeah, we are there. So get my coffee out of the way of that onslaught. But yeah, there we have it. That is how I do avocado bonsai. And that tree, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's about 1 year old. And we grew it from seed last year. Zoom in a little bit on that guy. And it did pretty good, except it just grew straight up, as most trees will in their first year. And so now this year we're trimming it, trying to train it into a bonsai pot, and hopefully by the end of this season that will be a fairly good bonsai tree. At least it will look like a pretty good bonsai tree. So yeah, there you have it. That's all for now. If you like this kind of material, like, share, subscribe, and we'll be bringing you more videos throughout this season. I do a lot of bonsai type work in the spring and summer, and then in the winter generally tend to talk mostly about affiliate marketing and network marketing. But during the spring and summer months we'll kind of be mixing it up a little bit and adding bonsai growth into the mix. So yeah, if you like it, like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you in future updates. Till then, take care, and have a great day. Bye-bye.